Hello children, welcome to the digital classes. Children, I know that you are waiting for the new session. Children, let me ask you a question. What all important for all of us to live? Can you answer the question? Yes, we require air, food, water and shelter. So, these are all very important for all of us to live, right children? Just look at the picture, what the kids are doing here. You see, the kids are playing with water. Children, do you play at your house? Yes. So, today we will learn about water and its importance in our life. So, today's topic is water in our life. Children, from morning to evening, we all will be using water, right? Can you mention some of the uses of water, children? Yes, water is useful for drinking. Yes, for washing clothes, for washing utensils, we require water. So, we look here some of the uses of water. Look at here what the kid is doing. He is taking bath. For that he require water and a boy is drinking. So, water is useful for drinking. Look at this baby. What the baby is doing? He is brushing. So, for brushing also we require water. What is happening in the next picture children here? Yeah, here water is used for boiling this corn and we also see water is used in the kitchen. Your mother generally cooking in the kitchen. So, she will be using water for washing the vegetables, for cooking rice, for making dal or sometimes for making soap she will be using water. What are the other uses of water children? The other uses of water is for washing clothes. Children, in this picture you see what the ladies are doing. Here they are going to the bank of the river and they are washing the clothes. And you can look at here a lady, she is washing the vegetables there. And at the other side you see this lady, she is filtering the water and filling in the pots so that the water can be used at houses. Isn't it children? So, these are all the uses which we use in our day-to-day life at our home. So, we can call them as domestic purpose. They are covered with water, that is in the form of oceans and we see large amount of water. Only 1/4 of the earth is covered with land. Shall we try to find out how much water is present on the earth? Water is everywhere and it is very important to the earth as well as to the life existing on it, including human beings. That is, human beings also require water. Our earth is considered as unique planet as it contains water. Children, no other planet has water. As the earth contains water, we can live on the earth. That is why the other planets do not have life due to lack of water. The surface of the earth covers 3/4 of water and also 60 to 70% weight of the living world consists of water. What does it mean children? It means all the parts of the body. For example, human body you take or you take a plant body or any other animal, we find large amount of liquid in the body. Supposing if you get a wound, what comes out children? Blood comes out. The blood also is containing water. So, with that we can say even inside the living organisms also water is present. Even you cut the vegetables children, what do you find? You find the fruits or vegetables, they are juicy. Why? Because they contain water. Children, distribution of water on earth. We will try to learn here. Look at this pie chart, children. This is the amount of water. This light blue color which you see is the salt water which is present on the earth in the form of oceans, seas, etc. How much percentage is that? 97.2% is the salt water, because there the salt content is more. This 2% amount of water is present in the form of glaciers or ice caps at the polar regions. Look at this 1%, children. This 1% is the fresh water which we found in the rivers, lakes and even the ponds. So, this fresh water is useful for the human beings, animals for drinking purpose. So, what we have learned here, about 97% is salty which is present in the sea. So, we called as sea water. Then 2% is frozen in glaciers, and there are also some amount of water is present as polar ice caps. This mostly we find at the polar regions. So, how much amount of water which we use in our day to day life? Only 1% of the world's water is usable to us. Why? Because 97% is present in the ocean in the form of salt water and 2% is present in the form of frozen ice. So, we cannot use this particular water. Only 1% of water is useful for our daily activities. Hence, what we can conclude, availability of water is very less. So, it is our necessary duty, it is necessary to conserve water. Children, in our day to day life, we are using water for different activities. Supposing you are drinking water, how much water you will drink? We will drink a glass of water or hardly 2 glasses, right? For cooking purpose, how much water we use? We use a jug of water, right children? So, for bathing children, how much amount of water is used for taking bath? We may use 1 or 2 buckets of water. So, we will measure the volume of water. In general, we measure the volume of water as a glass of water, bucket full of water, or sometimes a bottle of water, or even we say a jug of water. So, whenever we are measuring the quantities of water, these are what we use in our general life. But if we are working in the laboratory, we cannot use water in huge quantity or without any proper units. Generally, water is measured in liters or it is also measured in milliliters. Especially in the laboratory, you see here, in the laboratory, we will be having the measuring jars like that, where we will be measuring water in milliliters or sometimes even in the liters. Children, in the laboratory, we see burettes, pipettes or the conical flask, which can hold the water in a exact quantity, that is useful for us to carry out certain experiments in the laboratory. So, am I clear with this children? Children, shall I give you a project? For doing this project, we have to find out how much water do we use daily. So, for this we do certain activities in our day to day life children. These are the activities which we are doing. We drink water, we use water for bathing and we also uses water for washing clothes, cleaning utensils and some other activities like flushing the toilets, right children. So, what you all can do is you just measure the amount of water which is used by you in your house in a day. For example, if you are drinking 4 glasses of water, that comes to 1 liter, right children. If you are taking a bucket of water, then we can say it as 20 liters. Hardly we can call it as 20 liters. If you are washing clothes, for washing clothes you may be using 5 to 6 buckets, right children? And for cleaning utensils, you can use water hardly 1 or 2 buckets. Am I clear children? And other activities you have here. Other activities like for flushing the toilets or for cleaning the floor. So, we use certain amount of water. Can we save water children? Yes, we can save water here. If we wash the utensils by taking water in the buckets, we consume less amount of water. Sometimes you see the people will be opening the taps and they will be taking bath under the tap. If we do so, more amount of water will be wasted. Is that clear children? So, we should try to conserve water. Children, we should try to find out what are the sources of water. Where do we get water from? We should try to find out. Generally, if we are living in the cities or you are living in the towns, we get water from the overhead tanks, right children? Or sometimes we get water from the bore. So, that is what we are going to find out as sources of water. And as I said earlier, some amount of water is in the form of ice, that is the glaciers. It is in the frozen state. You can just see children, this is a rock which is completely made up of ice. So, where do you find such type of ice glaciers children? They are found at the polar regions. Is it clear children? And you can see some of the mountains like Himalayas. These mountains are covered with ice because the temperature at that area is very less in the minus degrees. So, we can see water in the form of ice. It is, we cannot use this water for our purpose. Here you see the ice caps which are covering the mountains here. Can you see children? Yes. Children, the water which is present in the oceans or which is present in as the glaciers cannot be used. Then what are the other sources of water children? Yes. How do we get water? We get water through rain. Just look at here. Here you see the rain water is flowing from upper areas to the lower areas. So, this water runs all along and fills the rivers, ponds, lakes, and it will be helpful in increasing the ground water. Look at here children. Here there is another source of water, that is a river. So, the rain water flows into the low lying areas. Children, what do you see here? You see a lake. So, around the lake you see a town is developing, a restaurant is there. So, the people come here for boating or sometimes for the fishing. Children, what do you see here? You can see a pond which is filled with water. Here the water is stored in a pit, like, isn't it children? So, this pond, here you see some fishes, crabs, frogs or some insects getting water, and you also see some animals, whenever they feel thirsty they come to the pond and drink water. So, the rain water is helpful in filling these ponds. So, children, I think I am clear with the sources of water, right children? Children, you ask your parents and the grandparents how in the olden days people used to get water. They used to get water from the ground. They used to dig wells and they used to fetch water. Children, you can ask your grandparents how water used to be extracted in the olden days. They used to struggle a lot for getting water. They used to dig wells and fetch water from the well. Just look at a picture of well here. You see a man, he is digging in the ground and making a hole. Can you see it is like a hole, children? Yes. So, what happens? The water which is present in the ground will oozes out. It is very difficult to make a well, isn't it, children? Look at this. Yeah, this man is fetching water with a bucket from a well. It is very difficult, right, children? So, this was the way which people used to collect water in the olden days. But children, are we doing the same in our present days? No, you just switch on, you get water, right? Or you just turn the tap, you get water. That is why we people waste more amount of water. In the olden days, it was not like the technology which have now. That is why, children, we need to conserve water. If we do not conserve water, what happens? Do we have any problem? Yes, if water is not there, if a rain does not come for 3 to 4 years, what happened? The fields may not grow, the crops do not grow and we do not get food and we all will die because of lack of food. You just look at the land, children, it is completely cracked. Why? Because at this place there was no rain from many years. That is why the land becomes completely dry. So, what is drought, children? Drought. When there is no rain for many years, we call it as drought, and that is nothing but scarcity of water. So, this is what you see if we do not get rain for many years, and this land is not suitable for the growth of crops. As crops do not grow, we do not get food to eat. Look at the close picture of a drought soil, children. The soil has become completely dry and it is not ideal for the agriculture as well as cultivation purpose. So, it is difficult for the agriculture and cultivation. Am I clear, children? So, we should be very careful and we should conserve water. Look here, though the fields are ready, due to lack of rain, the crops are unable to grow. And look at this lady, what is she doing? She is fetching water from the ground because the rain is not coming for many years and the water bodies are getting dried. So, she is not getting water. And look at this man, children, what is he doing? He is collecting water from the water bodies in the cans and he is taking water to his house for his daily activities. Children, do we face such kind of problems nowadays? No, we are not facing such problems as we got bore wells and we also got taps at our houses. So, we are more comfortable with water. So, we need to conserve water while using. Children, you see some of the students how they are playing with water and how they are wasting water. Look at the boy, what is he doing? He is playing with water, he is adding color and he is making fun with water. Why? Because he has tap in his house, so he is making fun with water. Think about the people who are living far away from the tap connections, children. Yes, he is making fun with water and he is wasting water. Here you can see some more pictures how people are wasting water during the festivals. You all like Holi, children? Yes, it is good to play Holi, but do not waste water in the name of festivals. Look here, for an occasion these people are enjoying by wasting water. So, children, we must not waste water as people are struggling hard to fetch water. Children, we have to conserve water. During the cyclones, you see more amount of water comes into the land and causes floods. How does it occur? We can observe very clearly from a satellite picture. Children, look at the picture taken by the satellite. Here you see a cyclone is formed and it is affecting and causing heavy rains in the coastal areas. Can you see, children? Yes, and due to which the rains occurs. Children, what happens when the cyclone comes? When the cyclone comes, it hits the coastal areas and causes floods. More amount of water rushes onto the land. It causes destruction. You can look here, due to heavy rain, the water has been running over the roads. You see the houses are getting submerged in the water, right children? With the floods, so much destruction is taking place. Look at the picture here. What do you see here? Because of the floods, you see the crops are getting submerged into the water and these plants get destroyed. Thereby, the food production will be reduced, isn't it children? Look here, water has rushed into the city and it has disturbed the transport system and it has affected the electrical system also. Look at here, children, people are unable to walk over the roads as the water has entered into the colonies, streets. Look at here, look at this picture, the water has entered into the houses and it is destructing the entire furniture, doors and even the food items which are being present in the house. Children, you might have observed how the heavy rains are affecting the life of the people. So, we need to be careful during the floods and cyclone. So, the water which is very essential for us is also causing havoc like situation if we are not taking care of it. So, what kind of water we need to drink children? We need to drink safe, clean water we need to drink and we get water in our houses, right children? So, we will try to find out how we are getting safe drinking water. So, for getting the safe drinking water, you just see here, this is what the practice which in the olden days the people used to do. They used to collect water from the wells. You see this is a well. From the well, the lady is collecting water and she is filtering with a cloth and this water used to be drinking by the people in the olden days. But what about the present days children? Now, the technique has been developed, the water is collected from the tanks and it is being processed and then finally, it is stored in the tank here and from here the water is supplied to the houses as well as to the factories wherever it is required. Look at here children, do you have such type of tanks in your villages? Yes. So, these tanks, from these tanks the water is supplied to all the houses of the village. We can make filters by ourselves or we can buy filters which are providing fresh water and which is safe for drinking. One thing we must ensure that the water whichever we are drinking is clear and it should be clean. So, we should ensure the clean water before drinking. So, shall we write the steps for safe drinking water here? First, the water will be filtered and from there it will be sent for the aeration and after aeration it will be disinfected, that is germs will be removed by passing the chlorine gas. So, we call it as chlorination and this chlorinated water is supplied to the overhead tanks and from there it is supplied to all the houses, that is through the taps. So, children, we have learned more about water. So, we have learnt about the drought, we also learnt about the floods. So, and we also learned how to save water, right children. So, before we close this session, we will recall what we have learnt in this session. We need water for domestic use and also for agriculture, and for industries also water is used. Where do we get water from? We get water from rains, ponds, lakes, rivers, etc. Of the water available on the earth, only 1% is fresh water, and this fresh water is useful for our day to day activities. We depend on rain for water, for drinking or for our daily activities. We get water, and that water is obtained from rain. What about farmers, children? Farmers are mostly dependent on rainfall for irrigation, that is growing of crops. What happens? Lack of rainfall leads to drought like conditions, that is no growth of crops or lack of water. So, we must protect water bodies. Children, we must not throw wastage in the rivers or lakes. What happens? They spoil the water bodies. So, shall I give you some questions, children? Yes. Mention the domestic uses of water. Write down the sources of water. Why do we need to protect drinking water? What happens, children, if we do not protect drinking water? You have to imagine and you have to think, and you should answer this question. Imagine what happens if water is not present on earth. Now, imagine if water is not present on the earth, what will happen? Think over and try to answer this question. For the better understanding of the concept, please visit the official website of SIET. So, I will be meeting you in the next session with a new topic. Thank you.